Riding in an ambulance, Yumiko reflects on how unlucky she is for being ugly and fat. To make things worse, she's heartbroken because the man she loves is someone so beautiful and out of reach. As she slowly feels herself fading away, she hears the paramedics say they're almost at the hospital. However, Yumiko has already given up hope, wishing to be reincarnated so she can have a better life. After some time, Yumiko wakes up. Her parents are there, worried but relieved to finally see her awake. However, Yumiko doesn't recognize them or even herself. Her parents explain that she had attempted suicide but miraculously survived. Yumiko is shocked and confused, wondering why she would ever try to kill herself. Her father expresses relief that her face won't scar, which makes Yumiko curious. She asks for a mirror so she can see, but her mother tells her they don't keep mirrors because Yumiko hates them, then hands her a phone instead. Yumiko looks at her reflection on the phone screen and, instead of disgust, she calls herself super cute, which shocks her parents. She compliments her flawless skin and puppy-like eyes while her parents watch in disbelief, stunned that their self-loathing daughter is finally happy with her appearance. But instead of sharing her joy, they panic and call the doctor, fearing Yumiko might be crazy. The doctor later explains that Yumiko is suffering from retrograde amnesia due to brain trauma and that personality shifts are common. Yumiko's mother worries that the neighbors might think they're strange, but her father and the doctor are simply thankful that Yumiko survived. Yumiko also feels grateful that all she lost was her memory. She spins around the room, singing cheerfully, while her parents join her reluctantly. Holding her parents' hands, she tells them how happy she is to have them. When she finally returns home, Yumiko admires how cozy her messy room looks. But when she opens her wardrobe, she finds the clothes rather dull. She finds a cute shirt to try on, but can't find a mirror to check how it looks on her. Remembering what her mother said, she begins piecing together why she might have wanted to die. She realizes she might find more clues through her phone and quickly turns it on to search for answers. When she looks at her photo gallery, Yumiko notices that she doesn't have a photo of herself. She spots a folder titled My Happy Place and curiously opens it. To her horror, the folder contains countless photos of a man she doesn't recognize. She realizes all the photos were taken in secret and begins to wonder if she used to be some kind of stalker. Just as the thought unsettles her, a knock sounds on her door. Her mother reminds her that their neighbors might start asking questions, so it's best if she returns to work soon. Curious, Yumiko asks how old she is. When she learns she's 24, she brightens up, thrilled by the idea of being an adult. Excited to discover what kind of life she led before, she cheerfully tells her mother that she'll go back to work tomorrow. The next day, Yumiko happily walks to her workplace, proudly wearing a cute outfit she found in her wardrobe. She realizes she's almost there and grins with excitement. On her way, she notices a park nearby and for some reason feels drawn to pass through it. Letting her feet guide her, she admires the scenery until she spots a man crouching behind some bushes, looking pale. Concerned, she approaches to ask if he's all right, but freezes when she recognizes him as the man from her phone photos. Playing it safe, she asks if they've met before. The man shakes his head, and Yumiko realizes how creepy she must have been to secretly take pictures of a stranger. Pushing aside her embarrassment, she focuses on helping him. Yumiko rushes off and returns moments later with her hands cupped full of water since she couldn't find a vending machine. The man tries to politely refuse, but Yumiko insists, telling him that if he's unwell, he should rest instead of pushing himself. Yumiko tells him that taking a break can actually help, proudly declaring that she was recently on the verge of death, but thanks to a break, she's ready to face the world. As she speaks, she notices the dark circles under his eyes. She scolds him for not sleeping enough, saying he's wasting his pretty face. The man looks at her in surprise, then starts to chuckle, calling her funny. Flustered, Yumiko blushes at his smile and huffs that he must be fine since he has the energy to flirt. As she runs, she's shocked by how warm her face feels. Meanwhile, the man, Kisuke, is found by his subordinate. Finally arriving at her department, Yumiko proudly announces that she's back but is stunned when everyone just stares at her with blank expressions. She asks one of her office mates if anyone remembers her. The lady quickly replies that they do. It's just that everyone's in shock because she looks so different. Yumiko assumes it must be because she looks too beautiful today. Suddenly, an intimidating voice from behind asks if she survived. Without hesitation, she explains that she's lost her memory and will need everyone's help to adjust. The man introduces himself as her direct supervisor, Meizono, and instructs everyone to assist her however they can. Yumiko then notices she's been sweating, indicating she is nervous around Meizono. The workday begins and the lady from earlier takes her to a meeting. Yumiko decides she must have been a nuisance before, so she resolves to befriend her. She learns the lady's name is Saki. The meeting turns out to be about potato chips, which makes Yumiko unexpectedly excited. However, the rest of the team looks unenthusiastic, thinking the proposal is bound to get rejected. Yumiko wants to contribute but quickly realizes she has no idea what to say. She rummages through her bag and pulls out a small idea notebook. At first, she smiles, impressed by all the creative notes, until she flips a page and sees harsh comments where her old self insulted her for being fat. Her heart sinks, but she decides to live differently now. She raises her voice and suggests making powdered summer flavors like watermelon, ramune, and shaved ice to sprinkle on the potato chips. Two members immediately say it sounds disgusting, but Saki steps in, saying the idea could go viral online because of how unique it is. From his seat, Maizoma smiles faintly. Soon after, the meeting is adjourned since Yumeko was the only one with an idea. Yumeko stays behind, staring at her notebook. She feels bad that her old self struggled so much, but she's also grateful for all the creative ideas left behind. Determined to keep things positive, she adds a new page filled with encouraging words. Suddenly, her phone rings. A policeman is on the other line, causing Yumeko to panic, thinking they discovered the strange photos on her phone and now believe she's a stalker. But the officer tells her that they think her suicide attempt might actually be an attempted murder, so they want more information about what happened. Yumeko admits she's lost her memory, and the call soon ends. At first, she thinks the idea is ridiculous, but then her imagination begins to run wild as she thinks the culprit might be Kisuki, or someone who is in love with her. Before her fantasies can spiral further, her stomach suddenly growls. Back in the department, Saki is surrounded by several male employees asking her to join them for lunch. As she contemplates who to go with, a few women glance at her with envy. Just then, Yumeko bursts in, rushing to Saki's side, thanking her for the support. The men immediately comment on how kind Saki is for helping out. Yumeko assumes the praise is directed at her, but when the men try to clarify, she refuses to listen. Grabbing Saki by the arm, she invites her to lunch, but the men protest, saying they asked first. Yumeko misunderstands again, thinking the boys are competing for her attention, and cheerfully tells them they're all welcome to join, completely unaware that it's Saki they're interested in. At lunch, Yumeko enthusiastically devours every dish on the table while the men watch in shock at her large appetite. She even starts helping herself to food from other plates. When one of them tries to joke that she's fat because of how much she eats, Yumeko confidently replies that she needs to eat plenty to maintain her beautiful proportions. Saki admits that when she eats too much, her face gets round. Yumeko assures her that girls actually become more attractive when they gain a little weight, but this only makes the men laugh harder, thinking she's just making excuses not to diet. After lunch, Yumeko feels drowsy, so Saki offers her some mints and explains which pressure points to pinch to stay alert. Yumeko glances around and notices how tidy Saki's desk is. Yumeko muses that in terms of beauty, they seem evenly matched. Saki agrees easily but points out that Yumeko's desk is a mess. Looking closer, Yumeko realizes her old self had filled the drawer with countless idea notebooks. Saki then asks what made her speak up during the meeting earlier. Yumeko proudly shows one of the notebooks, explaining that her old self had so many ideas but lacked the courage to share them. Saki flips through a few pages, her eyes widening as she reads. Yumeko smiles, saying her old self must have loved snacks and sweets, and that she wants those ideas to finally be heard. Before they can chat further, Maizono calls out for Yumeko's attention. Maizono informs Yumeko that the team has decided to move forward with her idea and tells her to prepare a pitch. Yumeko agrees, but she feels slightly uneasy around Maizono, though she can't quite figure out why. He then instructs Saki to finish some documents, even giving her a compliment. However, Yumeko notices that Saki doesn't look happy. Later that evening, as Yumeko studies how to make a pitch, she decides she'll ask for Saki's help tomorrow. Her thoughts drift to Kisuki, wondering if she'll see him again. Realizing it's getting late, she remembers she still needs to buy clothes to impress her crush. She's certain her old self must have been in love with Kisuki, but never had the courage to approach him. Now she feels confident that she can. The next morning, Yumeko strolls through the same park and eventually spots Kisuki again. They greet each other, and Yumeko fumbles to find a water bottle to offer him. Kisuki smiles and shows her that he brought one. They chat for a while, and she learns that Kisuki visits the park every morning before work because it holds special meaning for him. Yumeko agrees, saying she also finds the park important but admits she can't remember why. When she reveals she hit her head and now has amnesia, Kisuki looks shocked, saying he never would have guessed she came from a difficult past. Yumeko laughs it off, saying that life feels exciting now since everything seems new to her. Kisuki smiles warmly and tells her he'd like for them to be friends, hoping they'll see each other again. When Yumeko arrives at the office, she's still daydreaming about their conversation, only to realize she never asked for his name. Saki soon walks in and compliments Yumeko for looking cute. Yumeko is about to ask for her help, but Saki quickly declines, saying she's busy and hurries off. Yumeko heads to the bathroom, quietly scolding herself for being selfish. While in the cubicle, she overhears a few girls gossiping, not just about her, but about Saki as well, calling Saki useless and claiming Saki is only kept around as office eye candy. That's enough to make Yumiko step in, though it takes her a moment to squeeze through the door, and she scolds the girls for speaking badly about Saki. She also reminds them that her own face and body were given to her by God, so there's no reason to be jealous. Instead, she encourages them to focus on their good qualities. Outside the bathroom, Saki overhears everything. Instead of feeling grateful, she feels irritated. A small part of her wishes Yumiko had just stayed gloomy and quiet. Back at her desk, Yumiko finally finishes the pitch and beams with satisfaction. But when she opens her drawer, she freezes since her notebooks are gone. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss new episodes every week.